Look at how the jsExpressEdit parse editor can manipulate a block of HTML. For demonstration purposes, we'll borrow some off of a Thai food recipe site. These are a single column of recipe items. We'll represent it as a multiple columns of menu items upon the viewer's view screen size, and we'll style it. We go down to our new text post. We activate TinyMCE. We click in the text area. Then we activate this code tool. That allows us to paste in HTML and not have it be treated as text by TinyMCE. We copied the outer HTML division containing the Thai recipes. This way we can paste in the text, go back out. Then we can activate the parse editor. And this is all done without submitting the text, because then we can use the parse editor to go through the text to make sure we're getting rid of things that we don't want. If we're taking a look, we don't need the H2 headings, which is sort of a grouping for the different recipes. Of course, we don't want the input tag. We don't need a button tag. Here we see a script tag, and there's a script that creates a form. If we go down further, we see form tag and more input tags. And we can delete them individually as we scroll down, but that's a lot of work. We want to use the multi-editor and do things quickly. So up in our multi-editor, we're going to go to the initial find element section. And here we can simply just put in the multiple element types into this jQuery type selector. And then down here, there's a section on different various operations we can do with the found element. And we go to the delete options. We choose the remove entire elements, tags, and content choice. We update. And now taking a look, we see that the tags that we put in are now deleted. And at this point, it's safe to submit the text. We're going to hit the submit button, and that'll automatically generate a backup copy of the database, which we can easily view and then reinstall at any point. Okay, we go back, activate TinyMCE, parse editor, and then we don't need this first figure. Each element has its own controls. We're going to go to the full removal. We'll remove the first figure. So we'll quickly run through what we hope to accomplish in just a few operations. If we take a closer look at the figure structure, it contains the image, then it contains the figure caption. The figure caption itself has a title. Here we're hovering over the figure caption element in the inspector, and it's showing the rendered HTML in the light blue background color. But that's not the big title we see on this page. It's this little title, which we don't want. We want the big title wrapped in a H3 tag right there. We want to keep that, so we're going to keep the H3 tags. So we don't need the current caption figure title, and we also want the P element, which has the menu item overviews. There's one H3 tag and one P tag between the figures. We need to move these up into the figure. We're going to move them up to the figure caption. This way it'll stay with the particular figure instead of positioning apart from the figure when we have multiple columns. And if we go down, all the way down, we notice that this last figure has actually two H3 tags and two P tags. And we should be able to reorganize all this in just a few operations. We're going to go up to the multi-editor. We're going to go to this jQuery selector. We're going to choose the advanced jQuery selector. This allows us to do a relational search. We're looking for those H3 and P tags that are next siblings to the figures. So we're going to start our relational search by finding the figures. Then we'll choose the operation type, which is going to be find next siblings. What actually happens is it searches through all the next siblings to the figure tag up until the next figure tag, and then it'll stop. And then we'll put in the sibling types that we're trying to find. So we'll put in H3. Now we can add the first pseudo selector as well to that H3, and we want the first one. For that one-off case where there's two H3 tags, we're going to put in a comma, and then we'll put in our P tag, and we can put in these first pseudo selector, or an equivalent to that would be to use the equation selector with a 0 for the first element of the type that we want. Now this just finds the particular P tags and H tags that we're looking for. So we need to go down and we actually select a particular operation that we want to make on them. And this will be the multi-move operation. Now first we specify the type of the destination target. It says it needs to be a sibling or a parent. Our destination is a figure. We put in figure here, or we could have selected it from the drop down here. Then we got to select the operation. Now this will be the operation on the elements that we wish to move. Not the target figure, but the P tag and H3 tag. So the figure is a previous sibling in relation to them. and we want to move the found elements to the last child of the figure. So we choose previous sibling last child choice. So that'll be moving it as the last child of the figure. So there it is. We go back and we look. We see that both the H3 tag and the P tag are now within the figure element. And if we look at the second one and the third one and so forth, they've all been shifted. And here at the top, we see a whole bunch of loose P tags and H3 tag. Now this provides an opportunity where we can clean up any non-relevant P tags and H3 tags. We safely have the ones that we want within the figure element, so they're not directly within the parent division. As it turns out, there's only one division wrapping all this text, and we can use that to do what we need in the quickest way possible. So we're going to use this property. So we go up to the selector, going to put in the div element, then we'll use the child combinator, and then we'll put in a P, and then we'll do a comma, and we'll put in a div again, and put in the child combinator, put in H3. By including the combinator, we're selecting for direct children only, direct within the division tag. And so all those will be deleted, but the ones within the figure tags, since they are not direct child elements of the division tag, they will not be selected for. And then we'll go down and we'll delete the entire element. We'll update that, and okay, taking a look, there we see that all those irrelevant P tags are gone, and H3 tag is also gone. Now, for the last operation, we want to move them up again into the figure caption itself. We're going to get rid of the text that's already in the figure caption, and then we're going to move the H3 and the P tag up into it. So let's go ahead and do that. So we want to find elements. So we go up to the multi-editor. We're going to choose figure caption. We go back to delete options. This time, we're going to go to the last choice, keep outer tag, remove inner content. We hit the update button. Okay, the figure caption is now empty in all the figures. And now we just need to shift the H3 and the P tag up into the figure caption. So we go back, we're going to put in H3, comma, P, go to the operation, multi-move, and the type of destination target is a figure caption. And we'll choose the previous sibling, last child, and update that. And we'll take a look, and looking at the figure captions now, it has our H3 tag and the P elements within it. Now looking at the H3, it has the A link. The A link is wrapped around the English text, not the Thai text. That's handy in that we can style it differently, but we don't need an A tag. This is the only A tag, so we don't have to do any special selection for it. We're going to go up and we're going to change it to a span tag. Go to the selector, selected the A tag, then we want to choose the operation. We go to the wrap tag, and here we can replace the found element outer tag with the selected tag, okay? So that's the operation, and now we're going to choose the replacement tag, and that'll be a span. We update, and there it is. Now, when we hit the update button, the JavaScript does change the HTML for the post, but it doesn't submit it. So we always have that opportunity to check the text before we submit it, that it did what we wanted it to do. And ordinarily, we wouldn't go through so many operations without submitting the text and creating intermittent backups, but we can do it all at once before we submit if we wish. We can give special class names to each of these elements so that we can style them. We can do this at any time. We're going to go ahead and put them all in now. So we're going to choose them in turn and add a different class name to each. We can add class names or IDs individually to elements. If we go down to the figure tag itself, we see it already has a couple of class names from the WordPress site that it was in. We'll go ahead and remove those and add class names to all the figures using the multi-editor. Back to the multi-editor, use the tag class name selector. In the drop-down, we'll choose figure. Then we'll go down to the add delete class name operation. We're going to give it a post1 class name, which will work with our special styles that we're going to activate. Here we can also delete a particular class names. We'll put in WP caption and align to center. And we hit the update classes button. Here checking, we see all the figures now have the post1 class. Similarly, we run through the other elements, giving them each a different class name, which will work with our special styles that we're going to activate. For the figure caption, we'll give it the class post2. For the span tag, we'll give it a post3 class. For the P tag, gets a post4 class. And for the H3 tag, we'll give it a Pose 5 class. So we want to activate these special class styles to go ahead and style the various elements. And to do that, we go down to the styling options for this text post. You can click this link, which will take us right to the post bottom. And here on the Style Special Classes, by default it's set to 0 to keep rendering time and edit mode to a minimum. We'll activate 6 classes to begin with. We can always add more or less at any time. So we'll submit this and all the other changes that we made. In the next video, we'll use special styles to configure and style the menu items.